Year is the best time of the year.
And the crowd just buzzing with excitement.
On 97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
Oh, what a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
Thursday edition of Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM. Josh Hennig hanging out with you as we got a lot of things to hit on throughout the day today. I will get to the Washington Commanders. Looks like they're going to have the sale of the team to the owner of the 76ers. We will get to that in just a bit. Plus, we will talk about some guys I think the Eagles need to avoid. I think we've spent a lot of time with the draft talk about who the Eagles should get, and frankly, not enough time about who they shouldn't get. So we will touch on that throughout the hour as well. Plus, you can join the conversation at 609-403-0973. That is the text board. You also can DM the show through 973 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. You know, we have had a lot of draft people, and we'll have even more leading up in the weeks on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill and here on Game Night with Josh Hennig. And I'm getting the feeling that we're not having a conversation enough about who the Eagles shouldn't get. Now, some of it is obvious, right? You know, you don't need a quarterback. You have Jalen Hurts. But I think part of the conversation about who the Eagles don't need also has to come down to something that I don't think is talked about enough. And that is, just because a guy was your favorite player or someone you liked watching in college does not mean he's a good fit for your favorite NFL team. And one of the examples of this is what we're seeing with the debate with the team ahead of the Eagles. I feel like every mock draft I see, Mel Kiper, Tom McShay, Daniel Jeremiah, Bucky Brooks, Lance Zierlein, Rick Saratello of Sports Illustrated, Emory Hunt from Football Game Plan and CBS Sports. Everyone's got a different player going to the Bears at 9. We all can agree the Bears need offensive line help. But are you really telling me that there's that many different players that the Bears should consider with a 9th overall pick? To me, that's insane. You don't have that wide of a gap when it comes to considering players. When you are drafting in the first round, you got to get the best player available. You can't try to evenly slice and perfectly. No, you don't try. This is not sculpting here. This is building an NFL team. You need elite talent to win in the NFL. And I don't understand why when the Eagles pick comes around, people are so quick to dismiss certain players and so anxious to jump on certain players. We have now heard here on 97.3 ESPN, not one, but 2 draft guys. Emory Hunt yesterday here on Game Night. Andrew Checo today on Football on 4 with Mike Gill. Both say that they like Gibbs of Alabama more than Robinson of Texas. Now, it's not a negative against Robinson. It's the reality that when you're talking about a player, you have to consider more than just his size. See, we have, as a sports fan base, been lied to for a very long time. We were told that the biggest, strongest guys are the best players. And we've come to find out over the last 35 to 40 years that that narrative is not always true. Because you can be a workout warrior. You can be as big and strong, as powerful as you want. You can be Tony Mandrich, Mike Mamula, Jamarcus Russell. You can be Ryan Leaf. You can be, the list keeps going of physical freaks. Doesn't matter. You got to be able to play the game. You actually have to play on the field. And I'm not saying that Bijan Robinson is a bad player. But is it a coincidence that guys who study the game love Gibbs from Alabama? Is it a coincidence? I don't think so. I heard Greg Cosell say that Gibbs popped so much on his tape at Georgia Tech, a bad football team, before he got to Alabama, to the point where him and former NFL running back Fred Taylor were impressed. You can hear that full conversation on the Inside the Birds podcast. But Cosell, he's a guy who's watched NFL film for longer than most of us have been alive. Okay? You're talking about a guy in Fred Taylor who is one of the great running backs in the league. If he had maybe a little bit longer career and less injuries, he'd probably be in the Hall of Fame. They loved him at Georgia Tech before he even got to Alabama. And I'm a big believer in, is a guy a great player only when he's on a great team? And that's my concern about a guy like Nolan Smith. Just because he can jump really high, run really fast in a straight line, and does all of these amazing things at the combine, he's a physical freak, does it really matter? Look, the NFL is full of freaks. Pro sports are full of dudes who are phenomenally athletic and phenomenally talented. But can you do more than just jump high and run fast and bench press a lot of weight? I was telling Mike Gill earlier about Derrick Henry's workout regimen. Now, to preface this, for those who don't know, I am a NASM certified personal trainer and a NASM certified nutritionist, and I have 2 other certifications as well in the health and fitness world. So for me, watching Derrick Henry's workout regimen even makes me shake my head and say, what on earth is this dude's deal? Because he's not doing your normal bench pressing. No, he's suspended in air doing push-ups on resistance bands. He's balancing on one foot and pushing people off of him who are trying to tackle him. Like, he's doing these unorthodox workouts. And you know why he's doing unorthodox workouts? Because he plays in the NFL. Because every dude in the NFL is squatting, bench pressing, lifting weights, jumping high. He's trying to find that extra edge by doing something else. Nolan Smith is the embodiment of dude that concerns me because he's not very big. And my concern is that when he's in the NFL going against some of these big boys, and these are some big boys in the NFL, is he going to be able to get to the quarterback consistently enough for him to be worth a first-round pick? If he didn't play at the University of Georgia with all the talent they have up and down the field, would he still be a first-round prospect? Lucas Van Ness was game planned for by teams in the Big Ten, and he still showed out. He dominated another first-round prospect in this year's draft, Johnston from Ohio State. Dominated him. And actually, when you look at the numbers, you realize that the difference between Nolan Smith and Lucas Van Ness, not exactly that much. You know, for a guy who's being lauded as a potential first-round pick, Nolan Smith has 12 and a half sacks in 4 years in college. In 4 years of college, he has 110 total tackles. In 4 years of college, he has 20 lost tackles. I mean, those are basically the numbers of a guy who's an all-pro in the NFL right now. He had in 4 years. Again, I'm not saying that Nolan Smith is a bad player. but he ain't all 235. He's a little leaner than that. And what happens when he has to go up against guys like Trent Williams in the NFL? When he has to go up against guys like Rashawn Slater in the NFL? What if there's a guard with a kick out and he has to go up against Zach Martin in the NFL? Now, on the flip side, Lucas Van Ness has 13 career sacks in 2 seasons. He has almost the same number of sacks, half a sack more, as Nolan Smith in 2 years. Remember I told you that Nolan Smith has 20 tackles for loss in 4 seasons? Lucas Van Ness is 19 in 2 years. Remember, Smith compiled his numbers in 4 years. Van Ness did it in 2. Now, I'm not promising you that just because they have similar numbers that Van Ness is automatically going to be the better player. But Van Ness, according to measurables, weighs about 30 pounds more. He's 2 inches taller. But I'm just supposed to believe that because a guy does great at the combine, I'm supposed to buy into him. Listen, if I'm wrong, I'll admit it. But I'm telling you guys right now, we got to be careful with some of these prospects. Just because they look good doesn't mean that they are actually as good as we think. And for a team like the Eagles, I look at some of these names who are going to be drafted in a couple weeks. Frankly, once you get past Jalen Carter and Will Anderson and guys like that, even Tyree Wilson, I have a little bit of question about. A lot of these guys, they're not as surefire as we are like to think that they are. Just because a lot of people love, just to use an example, they love Nolan Smith, doesn't mean that he's going to be a great player in the NFL. Deonte Banks is a corner a lot of people like. I don't think he's anywhere as good as the other 3 corners, like Joey Porter and Gonzalez of Oregon or Witherspoon of Illinois. If you had to tell me that I had the choice between Paris Johnston and Darnell Wright, Johnston of Ohio State, Wright of Tennessee, frankly, I don't know if I want either one because I think they both have some serious flaws in their game. Breesy from Clemson, really good player. Miles Murphy from Clemson, really good player. But they also played on really talented teams. So what does that mean for them? Is it possible that Broderick Johnson is the best offensive lineman in this draft? It's very possible. But guess what? He's on a top 20 prospect on a lot of people's boards. Be careful with some of these prospects. It's starting to look like this is going to be a draft for as much talent that's in it. That's going to have some real misses. And I hope that if you're an Eagles fan, you don't get one of those misses because the Eagles try to outthink the room. Josh Hennig here on the Power Hour known as GameNight 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. We'll get to your text a little bit later in the hour. 609-403-0973. Your DMs in the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Coming up next, we didn't get to him on Wednesday this week. We'll get to him on a Thursday. Dave Weinberg joins us live from vacation with his thoughts on Eagles, NFL Draft, the Phillies, and Dave Weinberg picked the winner of the Masters. We'll let him take his victory lap coming up next on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on a Thursday night.
It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey tonight on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app with Tim Saunders and Steve Coates calling all the play-by-play action. It's It's Flyers Blackhawks. Tonight, coverage begins at 8:30. It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey on the radio home of the Flyers in South Jersey. 97.3 ESPN. And listen live on the free mobile app.
At Lowe's, we're always bringing pros more ways to save on the brands you trust. Right now, buy a DeWalt 20-volt Power Stack Max 2-pack battery for $199. Get a select DeWalt Bear tool free with savings starting at $139. Plus, you'll always save big on job lot quantities when buying select building supplies in bulk. Because Lowe's knows savings, Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last, Lowe's reserves the right to limit quantities. Discount taken at time of purchase. Battery and charger not included with free items. Valid 5-3.
Tide Power Pods have 85% more Tide.
Who needs that much more Tide?
Well, when giving your muddy dog a bath turns into you getting a mud shower. Yikes, you're gonna need more Tide. When your wine tasting becomes a wine spilling. Yeah, you're gonna need more Tide. Or if your favorite shirt is your kid's favorite napkin. Great, I'm gonna need more Tide. My mom gave me that shirt.
It's a mess out there. Tide Power Pods have 85% more Tide versus Tide Pods.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Attention all homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? It's time to replace. Fog between the glass. Time to replace. Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've put off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And right now, you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. Just text PLACE to 200-300 for your free consultation on top-quality affordable windows or patio doors for $0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for a year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Text PLACE to 200-300 right now. Text the word PLACE to 200-300. Don't wait. Text PLACE to 200-300.
O'Reilly. Replace your worn-out wiper blades and see the road better with help from O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, save $10 on a pair of Trico Force wiper blades. Old Rewards members get 4 times points and receive a $5 reward with purchase. Our professional parts people will even install your new wiper blades for free. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
It's Spring Black Friday at the Home Depot, and we have laundry appliances that just fit. Fit your space, fit your needs, and fit your budget. Like a new Samsung laundry set with large capacity, so you spend less time doing laundry. And with sensor dry technology to automatically optimize time and temperature, you'll spend less energy on it too. Save up to $600 on this Samsung laundry set in-store and online during Spring Black Friday at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
With GMF financing, qualified buyers excludes Corvette. Ever ask yourself why most people come to Bennett Chevrolet? It's simple. Bennett's selling new Chevys at true GM supplier employee prices. You pay what they pay, not a penny more. Plus, you keep all the rebates. Right now, that's up to $8,000. Now, some dealers are trying to do what we do. They may give you a discount, but then they try to keep some or all of the rebates. Nice try, but not really. Bennett gives you both the GM supplier employee price plus all the rebates. Right now, that's up to $8,000. And there's available 0% financing. Zero. Looking for you. We'll pay you a minimum 10 any piece of you can drag to our lot towards any pre-owned in stock. That's at least 10 grand. And we pay more, a lot more for good trades. And finally, our sales team is fantastic. Really, unlike other dealers, they're paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. Come see the difference and find new roads at Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
We'll check in on the text board a little bit later this hour. Of course, you can join the show That's 609-403-0973. And your DMs in 973 ESPN mobile app. It's free. Thanks to First Bank of Seattle. But right now, we talk to him on Wednesdays, but because of a couple of overlaps in the schedule and because he's on vacation, we want to welcome him. He's more than just the 97.3 ESPN Extra Point Sports columnist. He's more than just Dave Weinberg. He is the man who predicted the winner of the Masters this year. Dave Weinberg joins us live from vacation. Dave, I hope you didn't spend all the winning money in one place. How you doing?
Hey, Josh, how are you? Actually, I didn't cash in yet, but I got to wait till I get back for that because I was already in Florida for the last round. So, yeah, I'll get over to the sportsbook pretty soon and collect my winnings.
So, what is your takeaway from the Masters then? Because you didn't just pick the winner, but Phil Mickelson came in second place as well, and I know that you were very high on his chances as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, I picked like 5 guys that I thought would have like a shot, and Phil wasn't one of them. But as you know, I've always been a Phil Mickelson guy, and for him to shoot 65 in the final round at age 54 or whatever he is, and that was just fantastic. He's always been my favorite golfer. I've kind of lost a little bit of backing towards him since he switched over to Live and made some, really bizarre comments in the last few months. But anyway, he's still a favorite of mine, and John Rahm too, because they're both ASU guys like my son. You see my Sun Devils hat here. So yeah, I was really thrilled that John was able to pull it out. I was rooting for him, and what he did was just fantastic.
Did Brooks Koepka choke?
Josh, like you were, I know that he was one of the guys that you picked, right? If I'm not mistaken. And that was a really bold pick on your part. I mean, because he was way off the radar, and I don't know that he choked. I guess you can say that, but I don't know. That takes credit away from Rahm, and I just don't think that's fair. I mean, the fact that he won by 4 strokes was pretty impressive, but Brooks had some breaks that just didn't go his way in the final 2 rounds, and chokes is a pretty strong word. I mean, it's not like he shot like 85 or anything, although he did shoot in the 70s, I guess. But on second thought, yeah, he choked.
Well, here's the thing, and the reason why I ask is this, because that weather down there for Friday and Saturday was such an absolute mess.
Yeah,
that it left so many of these guys like scrambling for the final round, having to finish one round one day into the next. And I just have to say that, like, you could argue that Rahm winning the tournament coming from behind the way he did might be one of the more impressive Masters wins because of all the adversity everybody had all weekend.
Yeah, I mean, but everybody had the same adversity pretty much. But yeah, you're right. I mean, the fact that he was able to do that under the conditions, it was like 80 degrees one day, 40 degrees the next day, wind blowing one day, calm next day, rain, sun. It was just, they really battled all the elements. It kind of made me feel good, like I was back like at Cape May National, give them a taste of what I have to go through, But yeah, I mean, but yeah, it was all the more impressive because of how he's able to do it. You're right.
Dave, let's switch over from the golf because obviously, I wanted to give you your victory lap a little bit, talk a little bit about it, but I want to ask you about the Eagles for a moment because
sure, absolutely.
You know how important the little things are for a lot of times for the Eagles winning and losing, and there's a lot of people who are looking at a guy like Cam Jurgens and they're saying, the guy's got to get playing time. He has to be the right guard next year. And I keep having in the back of my head saying, but it doesn't matter what we think, Dave. If Stoutland is in there saying Jurgens shouldn't be the right guard next year, who am I to tell Howie Roseman not to draft a guy like Peter Skronsky from Northwestern at 10 overall?
Yeah. I mean, I saw that Mo Kiper had them taking him the 10th overall pick.
Yep.
That makes a lot of sense. So what you say makes a lot of sense because, like we've talked about before, you don't take a guy 10th overall to sit the bench. You need your 10th overall. If it's a 10th overall pick, he's got to be an impact player right away. He's got to start right away. And in my mind, if Skronsky is that guy, if they take him 10th, then yeah, then I think Statlin's. You can't fault any decisions he's made over the last few years since he's been there. And yeah, I mean, it's nice to say that Jurgen should get a shot, but if you draft Skronsky, I think he probably gets first dibs at that spot.
Yeah, because the other thing is that I keep trying to explain to you, I understand that like people like Mike Gill mentioned earlier, people love the skill position. They love the running backs, the wide receivers, and they love the guys who put up the fantasy football stats. But at the end of the day, this Eagles team, a lot of their success has been built in the trenches. So to me, if you walk out with offensive line, defensive line, I'm not really worried about those other positions, because I understand that this Eagles team doesn't reach the heights that they do without those guys in the trenches.
Yeah, I mean, they have plenty at the skill positions already. I mean, running back might be an exception, but there's no way they're taking a running back in the first round anyway. Maybe the second or third. But yeah, I mean, they've got to where they are by stocking and restocking that offensive and defensive line. They've done a great job of doing it over the last couple of years, and that's primarily why they were in the Super Bowl. I mean, it's great, like you said, it's great to have all the skill position players, and they certainly have them. As many as any team in the league, really, with Jalen Hurts, emerging as a superstar, and plenty of depth at wide receiver. Tight end is probably one of the best in the game. So, yeah, I mean, I have no fault with them going, after guys in the trenches, because that's basically where you win.
Now, Dave, you know how Philly sports fans are, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Washington Commanders are being sold to the guy who owns the Sixers. And you know how Philly fans
bizarre.
are. They're losing their minds because the guy already owns the Devils, the Sixers, and now he's getting it on Washington. And people are just like, they're losing their minds over this. Like, oh, does this guy care about the Sixers anymore? And it's just so funny to watch the replies coming in.
Yeah, I mean, I can see where they're coming from to a point, because NFL owners primarily are NFL owners. They don't worry about NBA or NHL or MLB or what have you. I mean, it seems to me like most of the guys who own NFL franchises, Jeffrey Lurie, Jerry Jones, what have you, their whole attention and focus is on that NFL franchise. It'd be curious to see how they divide it up. Like you said, they're part of. The Commanders, do they get their full attention? Do they sell? I don't think they sell off the Sixers and the Devils, right? I mean, they probably keep them too, but that's going to be. I can understand where the Sixers fans would be a little bit frustrated, because, like I said, NFL. Not that NBA franchises don't, but NFL franchises require so much attention and resources and everything else that it's tough to divide up your attention and your money like that.
It's still incredible that a franchise that was plummeting to hell is basically being sold for $6 billion. It's like,
isn't that incredible?
Like, they're literally paying Dan Snyder to go away. That's pretty much what they're doing.
Yeah, and billions too. I mean, that just boggles my mind. I think Jeffrey Lurie bought the Eagles for like $180 million, maybe, and I'm sure they're worth. They're probably worth more than the Commanders. In fact, I'm sure they are. So, just the fact that just the way franchises have exploded in terms of value is just incredible.
I mean, it almost makes you wonder, if you're someone who owns an NFL team, do you almost consider selling your team like the Spanos is with the Chargers, just because you saw how much Washington just sold for?
Yeah, you're probably tempted. I mean, it seems like a lot of the franchises, though, it goes way beyond dollars and cents. I mean, those guys all already have more money than they know what to do with. But at the same time, I mean, $6 billion is $6 billion. You could probably buy 5 baseball franchises for that if you wanted to. I mean, that's a really tempting offer, I would think.
Well, Daniel Snyder now will have to borrow any more money from the team to go on his lavish trips to France on a boat. Yep. He'll already have the money in the bank, and he can gain some interest on it. Well,
that's right.
Maybe,
that's right.
Hopefully, I don't know. The guy is such a weirdo. I mean, it's ridiculous.
He is. He's bizarre. That's for sure.
I mean, I'm not saying that he's Donald Sterling of the Clippers, but I mean, he's at least in the neighborhood. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, he's a different kind of guy, that's for sure.
Talking with Dave Weinberg on a Thursday instead of the usual Wednesday here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. You can follow Dave on Twitter at Dave Weinberg 19. He joins us live from vacation. What has not been a vacation, Dave, is the Phillies, who have been a roller coaster ride this entire season. What is your take on the Phillies right now? How do you feel about these lineup changes?
I guess it's just Rob Thompson experimenting. And now, if you're going to do it, now's the time to do it. Just to find out that lineup that you're more comfortable with. I mean, I really have no problem with them experimenting a little bit, dropping guys down, moving guys up, substituting guys. I mean, I guess it's all about, just like I said, finding the right lineup for the right situation. And if he wants to experiment a little bit, I've got no problem with that. I still think they're going to be okay.
Bryson Stott, the leadoff hitter. How do you feel about that?
I like it, actually. I think he's a very underrated player. I mean, I thought he had a really solid season last year. And, there's a lot of pressure when they let Segura go. But, I think Bryson's more than up to the challenge at second base. And I've been really impressed with the way he's played. I think he's really like I said, I have no problem with him at leadoff at all.
The good thing for Stott is that it was less about him replacing Segura than it was about Trey Turner coming in and basically, filling that void. At least for me, it felt like, it was like you lost Segura, you got Turner. That's a very nice upgrade. But Ken Stott,
and I'm not sure they do that if they're not. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Well, you're not sure they do that.
I was going to say I'm not so sure they do that if they're not, unless they're comfortable with Stott there. I think that would give them a little bit of a peace of mind to go ahead and let him go and bring Turner in. I mean, they would have went after Turner anyway, but I just think having Stott at second base is a kind of like a comfort zone for them.
So what do you think Bryson Stott and Alec Boehm's potential is? Because I know that how Philly fans are. They want every guy that comes through the system to be the next biggest player of all time, right? Everybody looks at these young guys and says, "Oh, they're going to." Like someone literally texted me yesterday and said that Boehm and Stott are budding superstars, and I said, "Time out. Can they at least get all stars first before we start proclaiming the potential superstars?"
Yeah, I think I'd pump the brakes a little bit on that. I mean, Boehm, I think, has that potential. I honestly do. But I don't know about Stott. I mean, I think he'll be a solid, everyday, reliable second baseman and leadoff hitter that you want. But about as far as superstar goes, no, I don't see it. I mean, he can surprise me, but I think Boehm he certainly has the talent and the ability and the mental focus to achieve that kind of greatness, if you will. I really think he's going to be something special.
Like I would say that I don't think Stott could ever be like a Chase Utley, like a borderline Hall of Fame guy. But I think he certainly is going to be better than like Mickey Morandini. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How about Denny Doyle? Would you take that?
I think he'd be better than.
That's way before your time. I'm sorry.
I think he'd be better than Doyle. I mean, I don't think Doyle. The problem with Doyle is that he was kind of like a slap hitter, basically. Like he wasn't really like some.
Dave Cash, maybe no.
Okay, Cash, I can see that, but Cash had like a 5-year window, basically. So,
Cookie Rojas, maybe no.
Now you're just
way before your time.
Now you're just
naming second baseman, Philly second baseman. There you go.
I think the overarching point was I feel like I'm with you on Boehm. I think Boehm's ceiling is great. My only concern with him is they're moving him back and forth between first and third base all over the place. Like,
I don't know if
I'm not a fan of that.
No, keep him at third. I agree.
Now, how do you feel about the story that Bryce Harper could be your next first baseman?
If he's healthy enough to do it, I have no problem with that. I don't think he's ready to play the outfield for any time soon. I hope they're not going to make him the permanent first baseman, though. He's too good an outfielder to do that. At least now.
The theory is that, Harper could get on the field potentially faster if he's a first baseman as opposed to an outfielder. Because apparently the issue with him is, as Rob Thompson said, that they're worried about him sliding right now when it comes to the elbow. They're not really worried about him hitting. So, I mean, I guess being a first baseman is going to put less stress on the elbow.
How does it solve that?
The first baseman gets a little less stress on the elbow than playing in the outfield, as we have Dave Weinberg back with us. You got me, Dave?
Oh, you mean sliding or you mean diving? Like, I don't know.
Sliding.
I don't get. Well, you're going to be sliding whether you're playing first base or outfield if you're at the plate, right? If you're trying to switch a single into a double, you still got to slide, right?
Well, that's the thing. The idea is that, how do you keep a guy who's a competitive player from not stretching a single into a double? So that's they're trying to protect him.
You completely lost me. I don't like. Does playing first base help you do that? I don't quite get it.
I don't know either. I think that what the Phillies are really trying to say is he's just not ready to come back yet, and they're, you know how these athletes are. They all want to come back early. The team's got to protect him from himself.
DH him. I mean, if you're missing his bat more than anything, right? So put him in at DH. You don't need.
Well, I think that was the original idea. I think the original idea was he would just come back and be the DH, but now with Derek Hall out for a while, Rhys Hoskins out for the year, I think the theory is that if you put Harper at first base, you can keep Bohm at third.
I keep Bohm at third anyway, and I just find somebody else to play first base. Kyle Schwarber or somebody, I don't know.
Well, Schwarber doesn't have many games at first base at all, so.
Yeah.
Although
I mean,
it was interesting.
If it's in a pinch, I can see it, but I don't know why you would do that. I don't know.
Well, it was interesting because Castellanos said at the end of spring training that he would be willing to play first base because he used to be a third baseman himself, and they just decided not to go down that road for whatever reason.
That would make more sense. I mean, I could see if you're really desperate to get Harper back in the lineup, all right, first base for the time being makes it okay, but I hope you're not going to try and turn him into a first baseman because that's a huge mistake to me.
Nah, probably not permanently, especially considering the fact that, we all know that Dombrowski's original plan is that Schwarber or Castellanos were going to be the DH and Harper would play in the outfield because he's a way better outfielder than either one of those two guys.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. Yep. I agree with you there. Yep.
All right, Dave, before I let you go, I just want to know how many more days are you going to be making me jealous by being in Florida and drinking all those drinks down there?
Yeah, I'm here till Monday.
Okay.
But it's been exhausting. I mean, I've needed those drinks after 3 grandsons running around Magic Kingdom, Universal Studios. Oh, my goodness. It's been exhausting. It's like running a marathon, for goodness sakes.
I will say, though, really quick before I let you go, I've always been told, and it's on a bucket list of mine, that I've always wanted to go to the Disney World and travel around the world and sample every single place around the world. That's on my bucket list.
Yeah, there's several drinking games involved with that. You'd probably be pretty good at
it. Dave, what are you trying to say, man?
No judgment. I'm the same way.
Although I will say I got up to 80 degrees today here in New Jersey. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard some people actually went to the beach. That's really nice.
Yeah, I've had to break out. I've had to break out the shorts. So. Yeah.
And the air conditioning, or not yet?
The air conditioning only if the car, I'm driving through slow traffic. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
I mean, it's still breezy enough where if you're driving on the Parkway or Route 50 or something, you can just have the windows down and just let the air got you. But
gotcha, very nice.
All right, Dave, go back to enjoying Florida and all the great drinks. I'll talk to you soon.
I'm going to. Thanks a lot for having me as always. I really do appreciate it.
Dave Weinberg will be back with us on a Wednesday next week here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. And my conversation with Dave Weinberg being brought to you by Jenkins & Sons. One call does it all. No need to call the drain guy, the heater guy, or the plumbing guy because Jenkins technicians have got you covered. From new heating and air installations, service and maintenance, ductless air conditioning systems, water heaters, boilers, and drain cleaning services. Just call 609-641-6440 and visit them online at jenkinsandsons.com.
It's Sixers playoff basketball this Saturday on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Here's Joel with it, turning on Claxton, goes beyond the arc, a fadeaway three, and he made it! It draws Cruz and Oz for the crowd.
It's Sixers Nets Game 1 this Saturday. Coverage begins at 1 p.m. It's Sixers playoff basketball on your radio home of the Sixers in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN.
The Venture X card from Capital One gives you premium travel benefits, perfect for seeing Taylor Swift The Eras Tour. Presented by Capital One. Oh, I do love her. Earn 5 times miles on flights and 10 times miles on hotels through Capital One Travel.
Enjoy your stay in Suite 13.
Whoa, 13? That's Taylor's lucky number. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel vPro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
Shop Spring Black Friday savings at the Home Depot to get your kitchen clicking. With top brand appliances from Frigidaire, like a new refrigerator with sealed crisper drawers to keep your produce fresher longer. Or a dishwasher with its unique blade spray arm for better water coverage that reaches every corner. Plus, with convenient shopping in-store and online at the Home Depot, your innovative new appliances are just a click away, too. Save up to $500 on select Frigidaire kitchen appliances during Spring Black Friday at the Home Depot.
We are here with Dr. Scott Hernberg, Medical Director and founder of Tomorrow's Wellness Center in Northfield, one of our 97.3 ESPN industry aces. Dr. Hernberg, tell us about Tomorrow's Wellness Center.
We offer the most advanced technology and evidence-based practices in a holistic and integrative manner to provide optimal health and wellness. We strive passionately to make folks look and feel their best.
You treat ED. How common is ED?
Erectile dysfunction is a very common disorder, particularly as men begin to age. Typically, about 40% of men experience some form of erectile dysfunction.
And what does Tomorrow's Wellness Center do for ED?
We use a protocol called the Gainswave therapy. What this therapy involves is low-intensity shock waves that are essentially sound waves. It's natural, essentially painless procedure used to improve the blood flow as well as to improve the sensitivity.
Dr. Scott Hernberg from Tomorrow's Wellness Center in Northfield. You can find out more at tomorrowswellnesscenter.com.
O'Reilly. Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Premium Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines to dissipate heat and friction and reduce wear. Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select filter for just $33.99. Limit supply. See store for details. Get Syntec only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing in me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new place. Nothing is everything.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or play stop to opt out. Go to nomoredraftywindows.com for full offer details.
Attention all homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? It's time to replace. Fog between the glass. Time to replace. Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've put off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And right now, you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. Just text PLACE to 200-300 for your free consultation on top-quality affordable windows or patio doors for $0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for a year. That's right. You don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Text PLACE to 200-300 right now. Text the word PLACE to 200-300. Don't wait. Text PLACE to 200-300.
The Eagles Draft Party is back at Maynard's Cafe in Margate on Thursday, April 27th. You can win an Eagles road trip for 4. Try Maynard's legendary crab cakes or one of their famous sandwiches. We have something for everyone. Visit for lunch or dinner and stay for the fun-filled nightlife. Just listen to the Sports Bash with Mike Gill to qualify and join the party at Maynard's Cafe in Margate on Thursday, April 27th, starting at 2 p.m. There's always something exciting going on at Maynard. Visit Maynard's today, your one-stop destination for fun in Margate.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Don't forget your next opportunity to qualify for the Eagles Pick Your Trip contest. Thanks to Phillies Sports for coming up. In about 7 minutes from now, the sounder will go off, and you, the caller number 7, you qualify for the Eagles Pick Your Trip contest. So stay tuned to hear the sounder 4 times a day on the Sports app, per day on Game Night, and then your opportunity in the morning going Keyshawn, J1, and Max. You're on 97.3 ESPN. By the way, I will admit fully that there is nothing more Josh than not caring about going to Disney World for anything that does not involve food and drink. Anyone who knows me knows that I could care less about Mickey Mouse, and I am all about finding some place to sit down and hang out with people and have some food and drink. I don't I just, you know what it is? I got to argue with somebody the other day about Disney movies. I just conclude, I'm like, listen, you're way more of a Disney person than I am. I think that's oh my goodness. I wanted to touch on a couple things before we get to those things, before we wrap up the hour on the text board. George from Summers Point chimes in at 609-403-0973, says, "Hey Josh, I was reading an article the other day that stated that if Bede wins the championship with the Sixers, he could be considered one of the best players and specifically centers in team history. Do you agree with this? I would like to hear your thoughts. Thanks," from George in Summers Point. George, I think there's 2 problems with the article that you were reading. One is, I think that article is being neglectful of the great players in Sixers franchise history. Wilt won a championship here. Moses Malone won a championship here. Joel Embiid's got a long way to go before he bypasses both of those guys as one of the greatest centers in franchise history. I know a lot of people were not alive to see Wilt play. And I know that there is a group of people who are basically 32 and younger who don't even know that Moses Malone existed. But I think it's unfair to have recency bias. It sounds like to me, George Summers Point, the author of that article, was having an intense amount of recency bias. When you think of the greatest players in Sixers franchise history, You're talking about Julius Erving, Allen Iverson. I mentioned Wilt Chamberlain, but you also got to throw in there, a guy like Hal Greer, who's in the Hall of Fame, played in the 60s. You're talking about, Charles Barkley has to be on that list. Joel Embiid's got a long way to go before he bypasses any of those guys. Now, if you wanted to say that Joel Embiid, if he wins the championship, that he will end his career as one of the 10 greatest players in Sixers franchise history, I can see that. But to say that he's one of the best centers in team history, you got two guys who their resumes are completely stacked. Like Wilt Chamberlain, they literally made the game more difficult for him. They changed the rules to make the game harder for him to succeed. And he was still one of the most dominant forces of nature to ever play basketball. Moses Malone won 3 MVPs. Now, I understand that he didn't win all his MVPs in Philadelphia, but if you want to say that, Moses' career, he was as much of a Rocket as he was a Sixer, all right, I'll give you that, but still, you're talking about Malone. If you make a list of the greatest centers in NBA history, Wilt and Malone are both in the top 10, and Wilt's in the top 5. The 5 greatest centers to ever play basketball in the NBA. You're talking about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You're talking about Wilt Chamberlain. You're talking about Bill Russell, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Shaquille O'Neal. Joel Embiid's got a long way to get near any of those guys. So it sounds like the person who wrote the article to me is really projecting or having a ton of recency bias. Mike Gill and I have a conversation about, who in their heyday is more popular, Allen Iverson or Joel Embiid. And I use people know me, I love movies, the movie analogy. To me, Allen Iverson is like Denzel Washington. It doesn't matter who the surrounding cast is. It didn't matter who was playing around Allen Iverson. You still showed up to watch Iverson play, no matter what. No matter who else was in the cast, no matter who else was doing anything else, you showed up to see Denzel. You showed up to see Iverson. Joel Embiid, to me, is more like actors like, Bradley Cooper and Matt Damon, or if we go maybe a little more old school, like a Michael Douglas. Like, they're really good actors. Don't get me wrong. Maybe Christian Bale falls into this category. Like, you could be a great actor, but you're not box office because you still need the rest of the cast around you to matter. You still need to give the fans a little bit more to show up and spend money on that ticket. And I think Joel Embiid is the most beloved Sixer since Allen Iverson. But I don't think he is in Iverson's box office category at this point in time. Now, maybe he ascends to that point. Maybe it's such an amazing career that by the end he is. But I think that, Joel is not Denzel level. He's not Iverson level box office. And I think that it's not a negative against Joel. I think it's actually a testament to Joel that he's going to win the MVP. And if you were to list the biggest box office attractions in the NBA today, he's probably not in the top 5. And it tells you he's such an amazing player that maybe he just doesn't get the respect that he deserves in today's game. It's an interesting conversation for sure. All right, caller number 7, 609-573-3776 is the call-in line. Caller number 7. The final opportunity today to qualify for the Eagles Pick Your Trip contest. Of course, it's brought to you by Philly Sports Trips. The Sports Match by Gill will be live at Maynard's in Margate on Thursday, April 27th. Thursday, April 27th, you must be present to win the Eagles Pick Your Trip contest. But you got to qualify first. 609-573-3776 for your chance to be at the Eagles draft party as a qualifier. Your chance to win a road trip to either see the Giants, the Jets, or Washington with their new owner, Josh Harris. Does Josh Harris make a point to be at the Eagles-Washington game in Philadelphia? That's an interesting question. I'm Josh Hennig. This is Game Night. Catch them all.
Here's what you missed on Greeny with Mike Greenberg.
If you have a baby, I don't want to hold it. A fan's baby. Would you sign a fan's baby? If they asked me to sign the baby, we'd have to talk about it. Just everyone in America, just so if you're listening to me right now, I love you and I appreciate all of the support you have given me through my life and my career, and I want to give back. I've held all the babies I need to hold. Why is that funny? Because someday you'll maybe have a grandbaby. I mean, I have to hold it.
Greeny, weekday mornings at 10 a.m. on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.